Every town has a story that no one believes. In this one, they say a train arrives only once a year. Anyone who boards it is never seen again. No one knew exactly when the railway had been abandoned. The tracks had long since disappeared beneath weeds. The wooden sleepers were rotting under decades of rain. The old station had been closed since the 1980s, and yet, every year, at exactly midnight on October 17th, people claimed they could hear a train passing by. No one saw smoke. No one saw headlights. Only the sound. A distant whistle, steel wheels rolling across forgotten tracks. Then, silence. The oldest residents all repeated the same warning. If you hear the train, don't go to the station. Almost no one listened, because almost no one believed it. Lucas Carter, a 36-year-old investigative journalist, traveled to the town determined to expose the legend. For days, he interviewed local residents. Every story sounded the same. A grandfather, a teacher, a brother, someone who had gone to the station on the night of October 17th and was never seen again. No one had evidence, only stories. Lucas dismissed it as folklore fueled by coincidence and fear. On the night of October 17th, he arrived at the abandoned station carrying cameras, audio recorders, and flashlights. The platform was deserted. Midnight came. Nothing happened. Lucas smiled. Then he heard it. A long, deep whistle. Very close. The rails began to vibrate beneath his feet. A faint yellow light slowly emerged from the darkness. It wasn't bright. It looked old, like the headlamp of a steam locomotive. The train approached without producing any sound except the slow rhythm of its wheels. No smoke, no steam, no engineer. It simply stopped in front of the platform. Every door opened at exactly the same moment. There were no passengers. The cars appeared completely empty. Lucas stepped closer. Inside, everything looked immaculate. Velvet seats, polished brass lamps, dark wooden walls, not a single speck of dust. Curiosity won. He stepped aboard. The doors closed immediately behind him. The train began to move. Lucas rushed to the window. The station slowly disappeared into the darkness. He grabbed the door handle. Locked. His phone displayed no signal. He took a deep breath. "This has to be some elaborate attraction," he whispered. Trying to remain calm, he walked through the train. Every carriage was empty until he reached the last one. An elderly man sat alone by the window. He wore a black suit and quietly read a yellowed newspaper. Without looking up, he asked, "First trip?" Lucas nodded. "Who are you?" The man folded the newspaper, smiled politely. "A passenger." "Where is this train going?" "The same place it always goes." Lucas frowned. "And where is that?" The old man looked out the window. "That depends on who's asking." He opened the newspaper again. The conversation was over. Minutes passed. Lucas stared outside. Nothing changed. No towns, no forests, no mountains. Only endless darkness. It was as if the train wasn't moving through the world, but through something else entirely. Then he noticed a brass sign above the carriage door. "Next stop, Terminal." Below it, Engraved into the metal were two words: Final Disembarkation. A chill ran through his body. He hurried back to find the old man. The seat was empty. Only the newspaper remained. Lucas picked it up. The date printed across the top was tomorrow's date. His breathing stopped. The front page headline filled nearly the entire page. Investigative journalist mysteriously disappears at abandoned train station. The accompanying photograph was unmistakable. It was him. Lucas dropped the newspaper. He ran through the train. The empty carriages were no longer empty. Every seat was occupied. Hundreds of silent passengers stared out the windows. None spoke. None acknowledged his presence. Their clothing belonged to different decades. Some wore military uniforms from long-forgotten wars. Others wore dresses from the 1940s. There were children, factory workers, nuns, doctors, railway conductors, people who could never have traveled together. Lucas shouted, "Can anyone hear me?" No one answered. Only a little girl slowly raised one finger and pointed toward a plaque mounted on the wall. Lucas approached. The plaque read, "Every passenger boarded out of curiosity." His pulse quickened. At the very front of the train, he found a heavy steel door. Unlike every other door, it wasn't locked. He opened it. Inside was the engineer's cabin. It was completely empty. No controls, no levers, no engine. Nothing capable of moving a train. Behind him, the old man's voice quietly returned. "No one drives this train." Lucas spun around. The man stood calmly in the doorway. "Then how is it moving?" The old man smiled. "It keeps moving because people keep boarding." Lucas stared at him. "I don't understand." "A long time ago, this train should have made its final journey. But every year, someone decides to find out whether the legend is true. As long as curiosity brings someone aboard, the journey never ends." Lucas looked outside. For the first time, the darkness began to fade. Ahead stood a lonely platform. No station, no lights, no signs. Nothing except the platform itself. The train slowed. The doors opened. The old man stood. "We've arrived." "Where are we?" "The place where every question ends." Lucas remained frozen. Something inside him refused to leave the train. The doors slowly closed. The train accelerated once more. "You missed your chance," the old man said. Lucas looked at him. "My chance for what?" "To leave." Outside, the platform vanished into darkness. It never appeared again. The following morning, police found Lucas's equipment scattered across the abandoned station. His cameras were still recording. Every video showed exactly the same thing. The platform remained completely empty all night. No train, no lights, no passengers, only Lucas. At 12:03 a.m., he calmly walked to the very end of the platform. He stopped, took one final step forward, and disappeared. Not behind anything, not into the darkness. He simply ceased to exist, as though he had stepped through an invisible doorway. The case was never solved. Since then, every October 17th, another person has vanished from the abandoned station. and the oldest residents still repeat the same warning. The train never comes looking for passengers. The passengers are the ones who keep looking for the train.